Okay, what if I told you there's a simple four-step method that can completely change how you learn? Well, anything. Today, that's what we're going to unlock. It's called the Feynman Technique, and it's an incredible tool for getting real clarity. So let's just jump right in with a little test. Picture this. A 5-year-old walks up to you and asks, "What's gravity?" Could you explain it? I mean, really explain it? Not just rattling off some definition you memorized in school, but in super simple terms that a kid would actually get.
Yeah, if you pause for a second there, you are definitely not alone. That little hesitation, it points to this huge trap that we all fall into. It's this massive gap between knowing the name of something and truly deeply understanding it. But here's the good news. There's a legendary method out there designed to do exactly that, to bridge that gap. Honestly, you can think of it like a learning superpower. And it was created by an absolute master of making complicated stuff seem, well, simple.
And that master? His name was Richard Feynman. Now, yeah, he was a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, which is incredible, but he was maybe even more famous for his amazing gift for communication. Seriously, they called him the Great Explainer for a reason. This guy could take these unbelievably complex ideas and just make them feel simple, almost obvious.
So, what was his secret? Well, it's this thing called the Feynman Technique. And at its core, it's a really straightforward four-step process with one main goal: to force you to explain something in the absolute simplest terms you can. That's how you know you actually get it.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's break down these 4 steps. This is how you turn all that random information floating around in your head into real, solid knowledge.
Okay, here's the game plan. Step 1, you pick a concept and you study it. Step 2, and this is the big one, you try to explain it like you're talking to a kid. Step 3 is what happens next. You notice all the spots where you get stuck, where you have to use fancy words. And finally, step 4, you go back to the books, fill in those gaps, and then you try explaining it again. Simpler this time. You just repeat that until it's crystal clear.
You know, I really can't stress this enough. That second step is everything. Pretending to teach a kid, it's just a brilliant mental trick. Why? Because it forces you to drop all the jargon, all the complicated words, and instead you have to use simple analogies and plain, everyday language.
But honestly, the real magic, the secret sauce of this whole thing, happens in step 3. Finding those places where your explanation just falls apart, that's not you failing. That is the entire point. Think of it like a diagnostic tool for your brain, pointing a big red arrow at the exact spots where your understanding is shaky.
And that's the mindset shift right there. You have to see those moments where you get stuck for what they are. Those gaps are gold. They literally show you exactly what you don't truly understand. So they're not failures, not at all. They're just signposts telling you exactly where you need to study next.
Okay, so enough talk, right? Enough theory. It is time to actually put this thing to work. So here's your challenge. Let's move from just learning about this technique to actually doing it.
So here's your mission for this week. I want you to pick one thing. Just one. Something you think you know pretty well. It can be literally anything. Maybe a concept from your job or, I don't know, a historical event you remember from school. Heck, it could even be something as simple as, how does a battery work? And here's how you're going to start. Super simple. Grab a notebook, a blank doc, whatever, and just start writing out your explanation for a 5-year-old. The second you hit a wall, the moment you realize you need a complicated word or the explanation just feels a little fuzzy, stop. Right there. Boom. You've just found exactly where your real learning needs to begin.
And you have to get this. This isn't just some clever little study hack. This is about building a foundation of understanding. A foundation so solid, so unshakable, that you can confidently build anything on top of it later.
Look, this really is a fundamental shift. It's time to stop just collecting information. You know, like a messy pile of random facts.
And instead, start truly comprehending. Start building a connected, clear picture of how things actually work.
So listen, this isn't one of those things you just file away for later. The process is so simple, but the payoff is absolutely huge. Your first lesson, it starts right now. Go on, find something, and explain it.